Kat Iniba, and thank you so much for tuning into Halo Halo, the show that aims to spotlight our very own Asian Pacific Americans in the field of entertainment and new media. In the studio today is an award-winning filmmaker whose first film, Ken, which also happens to be his thesis film, made its way to over 20 film festivals, winning awards such as Best Cinematography, Best Drama, and his other projects also won nominations and awards from the Phoenix Comic-Con Film Festival and Geeky Awards. Mr. Eric Won, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, I mentioned in the intro that your first film, Ken,
yes,
which also happened to be your thesis film,
yes,
won awards and got so much attention, right?
It did. I mean, for me to talk about Ken, kind of, you know, I cringe, you know, because it was my first film.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really sure what to do, you know.
Right.
I just had this big ambition, you know,
right,
and try to make the best film out of it, you know. And when I told my instructors that, oh, I want to do car crash, I want to do action gun shooting sequence, and they're like, oh, who are you trying to be, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think you can do this with this budget? You know? And I said, well, everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
This is the genre that I want to tackle, you know, and the only way for me to learn is to do it.
Exactly.
You know, physically. So that was my first film. You know, I got some good exposure out of film festivals back then, and but kind of gives me cringe, you know, that when I watch it now, I see so many flaws and stuff.
Yeah, but it was your first film.
But then when you're a filmmaker, you know, you see, once you complete a film, you see all the flaws that you, mistakes that you made, and that's what I see when I see it. So it has a very special place in my heart, you know, because it was my first film.
Yeah. But it was also a learning experience,
oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, it was probably more than actual film school that I paid for, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
now
great.
take us back, because you were born in Korea, right? And you actually found your love in film back when you were in high school? Is that
yes.
what it was?
I always loved film, you know. Ironically, I grew up watching Hollywood films instead of Korean films. And I just loved their completeness, you know, just the production quality, you know, this massive scale. I just fell in love with it. And back then, I was also very interested in doing a fine art, you know, so I drew, I sculpted, you know, so I was thinking about like how I can combine my passion and what I love together, and the answer I got was a special effect. Back then, the CGI was not so popular.
Huge, right?
So that's how I actually got into you know, filmmaking industry. First time I got a job at a big
I read that you did freelance sculpting.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, it's basically I sculpt miniature models, like 12 inches or 6 inches, you know, and I give them to, I guess, the client, you know, and then what they do is they cast it, they copy it, and then they mass produce into you know, toys.
Okay.
You know,
yeah. So some of the big companies you worked with was like Samsung and LG.
Yes. Those are a few big jobs that I took.
That's pretty huge.
They had a, you know, like character, you know, mascot, you know, their golf, they got a huge golf course and they have a mascot there, you know, they wanted to miniaturize, you know, so I used to sculpt them, not too much work, a lot of money, you know. So that was a great experience.
Did you ever want to get into animation, or was it more into action?
It was always the live action drama that always caught me, you know, even though I loved the special effect and all the everything else. What captivated me the most was the real drama between two real persons, instead of the animation. But I mean, these days, you know, animations are great. You know, I still cry when I watch Up and stuff like that.
I cried when I watched Big Hero 6. Now, and then from Korea, you moved here back in what, 2004 to?
2004. So I did the special effect, and then I quickly realized that there was a director who actually visions everything and makes everything. You know, I'm actually just following his order. You know. So wait a minute, I want to do my own stuff.
You want to do it all.
Yes, I want to do my own stuff. So I'm going to be a director. You know, so that's when I decided, and then I came to the United States and studied directing.
Yeah, and that's where Ken came up. And then, and then you also had another short film called Good and Evil that also received nominations.
Yes, Good and Evil also is very, you know, important film in my career, even though it's just an experimental short film. It was actually my submission for a competition that they had at Canon and Vimeo, and surprisingly, I was selected as a top 5 finalist, and that actually gave me a huge boost because the boost that I needed because since I made Ken, my career didn't move further along, and I was kind of in a place where I wasn't sure what to do next. You know, if I'm a director, I should be making movies, but I'm not. You know.
Did you write it and direct it?
I wrote it, I directed it, produced it, edited it, you know.
Tell me a little bit more about Good and Evil.
For me, I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to challenge myself, and I told myself, instead of keep complaining about, I don't have this, I don't have that, you know, I'm just gonna make this. I'm just gonna make this, and I'm just gonna make it happen. And if I succeed, it's great. If I'm not, you know, then
you gave it your all.
Yeah, I gave it my all.
That's very.
Then maybe I can learn from it, right? So that's basically how I made it Good and Evil. You know, I just called up my friends, and a few of my friends, and you know what? I'm shooting this in one day.
Yes. Wow, in one day.
One day.
We have to take a quick break, but I do want to talk about your upcoming project, or one that's your most recent project, The Division, which also received a nomination from the KIKU Awards.
Yes.
Time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere because Eric and I are going to talk about his web series, The Division, all when we return.